As Matt says, we're on. Hey, everyone. I'm Robert Lee here with my good friend Matt Haas. And this is Verbose Wednesday. I'm just going to cue up the old intro and then we'll get right into it. I know I have it here somewhere. Oh, here it is. The old intro I haven't used in a while is good afternoon in some time zone, good morning, and if you're watching on the replay, good evening and howdy. Or no, wait, it was howdy. I'll get it right. Once again, I'm Robert Lee, the owner and executive video producer of Shala Productions, where we create marketing videos as well as creating live video content coverage for the medical and the educational field, as well as a specialty in pop culture. And I'm here with my good friend. I always get the hand mixed up with Matt Haas. Matt?
Oh, I'm this way. Wait a minute.
Okay.
Hello, Internet. Yes, I have a YouTube channel. It's called All Things YouTube. Not surprisingly, I talk about all things YouTube. I'm good to be here and good to be talking about video production and anything else that Robert and I want to put on the agenda. So I'm glad to be here on the third edition of Verbose Wednesday. This is number 3.
Okay.
Yeah.
I every time I hear edition, I keep thinking the old rock. Is it the Fifth Dimension? Is the old music group or? But then again, my music knowledge is a bit erratic, so that's as much as I can go by here. So as Matt said, yep, we talk about video production as well as live streaming, and today we're going to talk about video marketing. And before we get right into it, I just want to mention a reminder. Last week, I had mentioned about providing an offer of the for free live stream video for folks that are trying to create video content to bring awareness to hospitals or medical frontliners and to help, whether it's to raise awareness to their cause or raise funds for them. I know I originally had the cutoff where it's the end of this month, but I'm just extending it just for the fact that I think it's on me just to do a better job to promote it. So just to bring up that point. I will provide the information again in the description like I did last time for those that want to know information. I'll also throw up the contact information, how people can reach me with any questions, as well as more information about the offer there. And
that's very generous of you. Thank you again for doing that for the community. That's
no, I mean, it's the least I can do. I mean, with the way how COVID has affected everyone differently. I mean, it's affected me as well. It's just a matter of just do my best to just help out those that are helping others. So just be glad to be able to do that for folks. Oh God, I'm having one of those mind laps again. I know. Before we go into the topic, I just want to open up the mat just to say hey, and just to hear what's going on with you. Like, is there anything that people should know what you're up to?
Well, the best thing you can do is jump on the YouTube channel, All Things YouTube. There is some big news coming down the pike. I am working on a Be Awesome on YouTube course. Yes, I am building a course for how to be awesome on YouTube, and 2/3 of the course, at least in the planning stages, is going to be free on YouTube, and then the last part is going to be a paid piece, but it's shaping up really awesome. I have jammed out video after video. I have been a video creating fool, and it's quite the undertaking. So I'm really excited about it. The content is on point. I have documentation with it. I have cheat sheets. I have buying guides. It's for the gear that you'll need. It's amazing. So I'm really excited about that. Just keep an eye on All Things YouTube. I have a mailing list and a Patreon page, patreon.com/allthingsyoutube. I'm going to be doing most of the announcements on that platform. And you could be a follower on Patreon, which is free. You don't need to put in a monthly donation. So push the follow button over on patreon.com/allthingsyoutube, and you'll get the information firsthand.
And
so
what I like about
doing. What have you been up to?
What I've been up to, just well, I mean, one of the things I've been up to. I mean, I enjoyed seeing your Patreon page because for those that haven't signed up yet or soon will be, you also give like a free update as to like just a general teaser about the program, which is neat.
Yep. All the details are going on Patreon first, and then eventually it'll just show up on the channel, on the YouTube channel. And my hope is people will get so much value out of part 1 and 2 that they'll demand to have part 3 and throw me a few dollars. It's not going to be much. I'm thinking maybe $15, maybe $10, something like that. But I'm really happy about that. It's, the first section is how to set up a channel to be successful. The next section is making videos that people want to watch, because that's what it's all about. They gotta have people watching your stuff. And then the third part, which is the premium part, will be how to grow an audience. And that's all about marketing and getting more eyeballs on your stuff. So I'm really excited. It's a complete brain dump of everything I have. A friend of mine whose son is 22, he's starting a YouTube channel. And I only had 15, 20 minutes on the phone with him. And I'm like, man, there's so much more I want to tell you that you need to know. So this sort of prompted me putting it all documented on video. So it's going to be fun. So keep an eye on that. I'm excited, really excited. Won't be long.
The real question is, did you go back to the kid and say, hey, if you sign up for my course, you get all the information?
Well, I mean, hey, if it's a friend of a friend, he'll be the pro bono, person looking for typos and things like that. He's actually set up to do really great on YouTube. He is he just got his master's degree in viola performance. So viola is like a violin. So he's a concert musician, and he's amazing. He's just a wizard. And so he's a young man, he's good looking, and he's got rock solid skills, and he's got a personality, and he's personable. All the things you need to be successful, he's got. I'm like, you don't even know how good this is going to be for you. So yeah, I'm excited.
That's pretty cool. I'm happy for you. I'm really excited to see how it all shakes out, as well as just to even hear the folks that are taking it as to how much they'll benefit from it. So definitely excited for you. And oh, wait a minute, almost kind of like a Groucho thing. I meant to hit this whenever I hear the word excitement.
I love it.
Yeah, I've got to figure a way to get that into the computer. But in terms of what I've been doing, I've just been trying to preach what I teach, or preach what I say. That's why I'm not very good with cliches, just because, well, I can't remember it. But the important thing is just that I always like to set aside time to do some equipment testing, or just to try out some different things. So I know, like you and I, like last month. Wait, this is still May. So yeah, so April, we did a workshop about live streaming, and a fellow colleague who does what I do. He's been great. It's John Kowalski. Oh God, I hope I pronounced his last name right. He'll probably kill me if I get it wrong. But I mean, a lot of times, like if I run into jam in terms of setup and stuff like that, he's been very patient for me to bounce off things. So one of the things I've been trying to do is just try to improve the setup, just try to keep things simple. I'm just glad that I can't do like a flip screen on my computer to show what it looks like behind, because it's just kind of like. But the one thing I always like to do is just try to improve stuff with the audio setup. And so I don't know if I can switch over the camera. You'll have to pardon me, folks, if it looks a little weird. And
okay,
let me see if I can get it right.
Be careful. Robert's going to push some buttons. Oh, yeah. There he did.
So I've been able to set up a basic Rode video mic that has like a stereo 1.4. Oh, sorry, I don't mean to go all geeky, but essentially it was a matter of just trying to improve the audio by just try to have less things all tangled up in terms of getting things hooked up. So this was, although it doesn't look elegant, it's just an elegant solution of just being able to have a direct audio source into the computer, so that way I don't have to worry about fiddling around with. Oh wait, this is a tape dispenser. well, sorry, it's a little bit out of reach, but I would just show like a wireless lavalier mic where sometimes I get tangled up. And so, just doing neat stuff of just trying to improve the setup and just try to learn from others and just be able to make a show better and also add to the knowledge base. So,
Robert, I noticed when you went off axis, it totally dropped your volume down to almost nothing. That's a very directional mic, isn't it?
yes.
That's what I love about those. Yeah. Now, does that have the 1/8 inch analog jack on the end of the mic?
It's the one. It's I believe it. I believe so. I had to get like a special USB dongle to be able to connect that jack into
Like
the computer.
This, right? It's got one of these guys.
Yeah. Sorry.
Okay.
I was gonna look for like a magnifying glass, but that's gonna look kind of weird. The probably people think I'm gonna look like Sherlock Holmes going.
Oh, you know what? I never turned on this light over here. I am not well lit today. Hey, I see David Jones joined the chat room. Hi, David Jones. Welcome back to Verbose Wednesday.
Hey, Dave. Thanks for coming on.
Are we going to be talking about bandsaws? Because David Jones is an expert.
See, every time I think of bandsaws, I'm thinking like the old folks, not old folks, but the people using like a different equipment to make music instruments out of.
Yeah, that's not what I mean.
I figure I had a 50-50 shot of guessing if that was about. I guessed wrong.
Yeah,
so.
It's good to have you here, David. If you have any video production questions, let us know.
So, yeah. So, I think I'm having one of those senior moments. What were we talking about?
Oh, well, you were talking about your shotgun mic, and then we were going to introduce the topic for today.
I almost thought you were going to say bandsaws. Sorry.
David would love for us to talk about woodworking tools. Yeah.
All right. We'll do a video segment about that in a future episode.
Okay.
All right. So, So pretty much just being able to. Sorry, I just got a little stuck here. To be able to, whatever the word is, to be able to improve on setups and just try to have some. I don't know if I would say playtime, but just the idea of just being able to tinker time. Maybe that might be the word. With gear and stuff, just to be able to do a better show, as well as just being able to try out different things, as well as some other stuff that still fleshing out that maybe at some point I'll bring up, but that's the nebulous, it's in the works kind of thing. But to your point, yes, let's get right into the topic about video marketing. One of the things I try to do is try not to be too I don't want to say nerdy or too number crunching-y. Maybe it's geeky. I don't know. But what I did was I just put together a quick chart, and it was about focusing on 5 of the common social media channels that folks use when they use videos to promote their business, their product, blah, 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 all that stuff. And it's just to share some observations as to, I don't want to say best practice, just because everyone has their own certain way as to how they want to present their videos or how they want to create it. The way I look at it is I'm just providing guidelines as just like what are the standard practice that others use. So that way you're aware of how it comes out. So that way you can do your own testing, or you can deviate from the traditional manner of how you present the videos so that you can stand out. So I always like to use the term, like, what's the word on the street? But considering that we're all on self-quarantine, self-isolation, I just say like, I was going to say like, what's the word I hear? But that doesn't sound right.
Robert,
but you get the idea.
I'm going to revoke your ability to use analogies. I don't think you've nailed one yet.
I stay away from cliches for that reason. So, however, if you want analogies, I do provide them, but they're a little bit off the wall. That's the best I could put it. So, yeah, it's yeah. Anyway, to your point, so I know like the first column here, it's a little bit on the geeky side on the numbers. I mean, we'll get back to it, but essentially all you need to know is that first column just describes how big of a file you can upload to your computer or a smartphone of the video that you can put up there, and what the estimate time equivalent of the size of the file.
So those are the maximums. I gotcha.
Correct.
Yep.
So this is the medium we're talking about is LinkedIn, YouTube, Instagram, IGTV, Instagram TV, for those that are familiar with the acronym, Facebook, which we're using, as well as Twitter. Now, here's the fun stuff. Oops. I think when I froze the panel, anyway. Let's just go to I'm just going to use the chart to help me parse out the information, but it's going over the content as to what you typically see, how it's presented, what's presented, as well as giving you like some, I guess you could say maybe like a suggestion or tip as to how you can catch them in my own unique way, I guess is the best way to put it. So the first thing I noticed, like with LinkedIn, is that most of the content I see there, and correct me if you see otherwise, Matt, is that most of the videos that you'd see on LinkedIn it's more businessy in terms of the business tips, the I don't know if I want to say motivational, but just the idea of just being in that mindset. I'm not knocking it. It's just that's the most types of content I see.
It's very corporate, it's like I took this metadata course, or I'm certified with XML, or I'm it's a lot of that stuff.
Yeah, and it's almost getting to the point that when they do that, it's almost like everyone's saying the same thing but in a different way.
Maybe.
I mean, I guess it's the equivalent of like you have a lot of cover bands singing on that one famous song. It's saying the same message, but how it's presented differently. How about that? Is that a better analogy?
There you go. starting to break into it nicely. Keep the momentum going.
Well,
you're still on thin ice.
Or a baseball analogy, batter, swing. All right.
Oh,
I'm slipping. That's a slippery slope.
You're tempting fate.
Yeah, I know. But yeah, I mean, to the point earlier, it's just that I don't know. I mean, I know that a lot of the speakers they present themselves well, so that I don't think anyone would have a problem if the message is consistent as to what other people are preaching, whether it's generally the positive mindset. A lot of it has to, whether it's how you organize your day, how you balance work life. I'm just going over the bullet points of the types of topics I hear. But it's starting to kind of blur just because of it's just either covering the same topics and stuff. So the flip side from seeing that is what I call a work day behind the scenes. And that's one of those things where like some of them may use like one of those, I don't know, I guess selfie sticks is probably the best way to put it, where they just kind of like walk around, or if they're like Gary Vaynerchuk and they have like a hired videographer to follow him for the day and just kind of like a roving cameraman to follow what he's doing and just show them in action essentially. And
you're seeing a lot of that on LinkedIn?
Yeah, I mean, sometimes I wonder if they're just kind of like putting too much of the B-roll of people walking around, or just kind of like saying, "Oh, this is what I'm doing. Here's my peeps over here." I don't know. In some ways, I feel it's kind of like disguising what they're doing, which is giving their quick business tip, but just kind of breaking up in small chunks.
I mean, LinkedIn is really starting to make a play for video, and it's changing. So it's not surprising that the type of content you're seeing is starting to change a little bit on that platform, because you can get true organic reach on LinkedIn. And that is something that inevitably goes away as these platforms mature. Instagram used to be 100% organic reach until Facebook got its hooks into it. And now it starts to suppress certain posts and push certain posts depending on how popular they think they are. And now it's a little more difficult to get traction on LinkedIn. But when it first started, everyone jumped on it because you could actually get your stuff out in front of people. And it seems like LinkedIn is at that early, more favorable stage. So people are putting up a lot of stuff, I'm sure.
But if you'll start to notice that as the content changed, I think part of that is tribute to a lot of the YouTube content creators are migrating over to LinkedIn platform, and because they provide their own unique content, whether it's how they present themselves or the types of messaging, they're starting to populate their content over there. So in some ways, it's almost like the new material is being, if you pardon the word, recycled from another platform, but it's new to LinkedIn platform just because they're they're reaching an audience that they normally don't get in the YouTube channel. I mean, that's what I'm observing. So, like for
It's
example,
audience. It's the reason
yeah,
to go there is audience. You've got an audience at LinkedIn.
yeah. I mean, I can't help but think that I don't know how much YouTube has changed their platform in terms of how they can monetize, but the fact that they're going after a very specific audience, uh, if you pardon the expression, have the money to spend, so that if they may want their services, whether it's the production or the consultation, what have you, they're better off being able to reach that audience in the LinkedIn platform. Not to say that they won't go to YouTube and they'll capture them, but it's really concentrating on a specific audience where they know where they're going to go, just because the format is geared
Because
towards the
LinkedIn is
professional.
full of professionals, presumably.
Right.
Yeah, got it.
Exactly. So
Gotcha.
it's almost like they have the light bulb, like, oh, we got to go over there.
Hey, wherever there's eyeballs, put your stuff where there's eyeballs. Yeah.
Right. Or in my case, the glasses, just because like the eyeballs are just, sorry. Um, I have to be careful not to riff too much, but yeah, I mean, it's a combination of content from either potentially recycled content from YouTube to, if it's origin in LinkedIn, it's more of the workday or the quick business tips that I'm seeing a lot of.
Nice.
But going from LinkedIn to YouTube, yeah, I mean, which is great because we have a someone that's very affluent to the YouTube community. And correct me if I'm wrong. The content I see there, although it is varied in industry and the type of content, there seems to be that common theme that they have to up their production value in terms of entertainment to not only engage but to draw them in to watch their video.
There's 2 billion users. Yeah, there's so many users over on YouTube. You've got to win their attention, and it's a competition. So yeah, your stuff has to be good, and they have to be able to find it. You have to build your video as if someone's searching for it, and that type of content. Yeah.
But I can't help but think that if they don't have the strong visual image to draw them in, it's almost like they have to be smart of their content. So if it's more like a talking head format like this, that they would really need to be on their game in terms of like the keywords or just even the topics that would get their attention, that would drive them towards them. So
If someone watching isn't getting value either from the entertainment value of what you're doing or the education value of what you're doing, if you fail in either of those, then you're not going to be successful. Yeah.
I do agree. The thing that's challenging is that if the content is rich, is something they can take away from, it's almost like you have to like be able to flag them down for them to be able to get their seconds. I have this visual of the movie Airplane, where you have the lead character Robert Hayes. He's trying to walk through the airport and he's being harassed by different people trying to buy them the time, like like whether they could donate money towards a charitable cause and stuff. And I can't help but see it similar like with YouTube, where like you have like a great content, but you have to get engagement the first second for them to come and listen to them. So I don't know. I mean, it'd be kind of weird where if you're if you're talking about video marketing and all of a sudden you have like a flaming dragon in the front just to go. I mean, it has nothing to do with video marketing, but there's that disconnect where they're trying to get folks to listen in on stuff, unless the guy's spitting out video marketing content in the form of fire. But
there's a lot of things you can do to get people's attention, but if your attention technique doesn't reflect what's in your video, you're going to lose them because the expectation will not be met. So if you put a dragon in the front of your video to get people's attention and your content isn't about a dragon, people are going to be mad and they're not going to come back. So
or very confused if for the whole point, like if if you have the person just dressed as dragon, but it does talk about dragon, but there's a dragon, it's almost like, well, there's a dragon there, but what's that got to do with video marketing? But
exactly. And you're going to upset the person, and then they're not going to be back. So, but you're right. You have to compete. That's the same on any platform. If you're not interesting and giving value and not entertaining, no one's going to consume your stuff, no matter where you put it.
yeah, but it is that fine balance between having valuable content and also being entertaining, and it's
Well, being
almost like,
entertaining is valuable. That is a valuable thing.
I guess maybe I'm seeing it a little bit too
It
black
comes
and
down
white.
to it's either education or it's entertainment or it's both. That's it. That's the only type of content you can do to get people's attention.
Although it does segue to like an article I wrote where I call it the 3 E's. Though it's education, entertainment, enlightenment. Enlightenment is more like focused more like on the mindset, or just like teaching them like a an in
See,
a
you've used
thought.
the word teach to describe it, so it kind of falls in the education genre, the bucket.
Okay, so
I've distilled it down into two things. Yes, there's lots of little subcategories, but really, you're like even the news. If you go to watch the news, that's still you're learning something. You're learning something about current events. It's not like 1+1 =2. It's not like education class material. It's just people go there because they want a question answered or they want to be entertained. How do I
yeah,
fix my bike? How do I build a table? How do I know what's happening in the world right now? What's the current events? It's all education.
yeah. I mean, I guess I look at education that takes on two forms, where they're learning like a specific skill, like how to cut wood, or if it's more like a intangible, something that's intangible, like a thought,
They're both learning.
enlightenment. So
It's both knowing something now that you didn't know earlier. It's all learning.
true, but I guess I look at learning as two different forms. One
Okay.
that's
So
with your hands, and one in
education
your mind.
/ enlightenment as one category and entertainment as the other.
Well, it's because like the whole point when I wrote the article is with 3 E's. So I to your point, it is a stretch, but in terms of like being able to have 3 E's, I had to splinter it out. But I'm splitting here. That's the story for another day. But to your point, I do agree. So I know it's a weird transition from talking about YouTube to Instagram, but Instagram plays up more towards the entertainment, the visual factor, just because Instagram, you're focusing more on, well, I mean, there are video content there a lot more than it was before, but originally designed more on the photography element, and so it's still that vein where the content is more focused on the visual stimulation before you hit them with the content.
And Instagram is a lot, how would you say, lighter, or it's like a snack, whereas YouTube's a whole, it can be long form.
Like a beefsteak.
Yeah. Instagram is, I don't want to say snack because Twitter would really be a snack. That's little teeny bite-sized morsels.
I don't know. I see Twitter more as like a adrenaline rush, like a shot of espresso.
I try and stay off of Twitter. Oh my God. It's such a dumpster fire.
Well, I mean, for even like with Twitter, although I use YouTube just because it's just the more on a technical reason, just because of the format and stuff. But a lot of times, like, I mean, you do have to watch. It's almost like you have to like wear fire retardant clothes when you use Twitter, just because you're not sure. It's like a powder keg waiting to happen, and as a result of it, a lot of folks, when they post engaging videos and stuff like that, it's to elicit such a response, and has that kind of a. I hate to use this description, but I think it's probably the best way to describe it. It has that kind of a TMZ breaking news type of format, just in your face as to like what it hits you with the video.
Outrage wins the day for sure on Twitter. See, here's my take on it.
Okay.
And this is what sort of rubs me the wrong way with Twitter. Not that it can't be a wonderful place. I use Twitter, don't get me wrong. And mind other people using Twitter. But here's the rub. It was billed as, tell us what's happening right now, and you'll put this tweet out there, and people will engage it, and what you've said is only sort of relevant in the relative here and now. In other words, it's supposed to go out there, and then it sort of fades away. It's not relevant anymore. Just whatever you're thinking, just dump it on Twitter and engage with people, and then it's going to be gone. But you know what? Twitter is permanent. Your stuff never goes away. It's all, you can go back into the history. People are getting slammed because of what they've tweeted years ago, and it doesn't go away. It's all out there. So,
but it's almost like even if they like try to like delete the tweet they have, it's almost as if people are ready like to take that photo of it. So they say, well, you did say it, and it just, we got it before you delete it. So.
And the Wayback Machine, it's always on the Wayback Machine. If it's out on the internet, it's archived permanently, by a third-party services. Yeah, no, it's so I don't ever say anything on Twitter you wouldn't want to scream to the entire world simultaneously.
Okay.
I'm serious. It'll bite you. It'll bite you.
Well, no, I mean the most things I've usually screamed is just more out of jubilation, like woohoo. But I'm afraid I might blow out the speakers if I do that. But
I mean, just if you're getting if you're trying to get a rise out of people, and you kind of cross the line, and you think you're only really affecting a small group of people, or you're not. It's
right.
Permanently worldwide archived, viewable to everyone. That's the thing about Twitter. It's public. It's fully open. There's no anyway. Just be careful. Be careful on the Twitters.
I never heard folks use Twitter in the plural sense, but I get what you're saying.
I'm in tech so much. I do funny things like that. So instead of the internet, I'll say the interwebs. I just sort of make it fun a little bit, or try to. I often fail, but I try.
No, it's all good. I just it's just been a while since I heard someone use that term, but I guess that's what happens when you're social distancing, and that you're you get a little bit out of tune with what other folks are using. So it's all good. But okay,
what else
I know
we got there on the spreadsheet?
Yeah, so I know we kind of jumped into Twitter, but I think with Facebook, the way I see more of the content, it's more community building powwow. So it's not so much like they're trying to elicit a rise, but just more like just trying to engage in a healthy conversation. But I mean, a lot of that, it's almost more like content community driven as to what the topics are about. So I guess
certainly a lot of people on Facebook, no doubt about it.
Big yeah. Part. Although I know it's funny that before the pandemic had hit, when I had and I don't know if you want to call this like inside news here, but when I ever cover like a corporate event and they start talking about like the social media, one of the things that's interesting is just folks use with Facebook, and it's and it almost sounds like a kid that has to eat vegetables because they know it's good for them, and it's almost like that phone's like, yeah, so we gotta use Facebook, I don't know. So it's almost like they get it that they have to use it, but just like how they use it is just is. I'm trying to be careful because I'm not trying to knock them. It's just funny, just that it's just like okay.
Hey, I understand the sentiment. I really do. It's a hard platform to get in front of people because Zuckerberg locked it all down. Zuckerberg wants Facebook to be all about people connecting with people. They don't want it to be about businesses connecting with people. So anything you post on a page doesn't go very far unless you pay them, unless you boost it. And even still, that's even not as far reaching as it used to be.
Yeah. I mean, then you start getting into the corporate mindset of how they can make money on a social media platform and all that. But to your point, yeah, I mean, it drives me nuts when they change the algorithm and such. So I think before they start really tinkering around there, it's just interesting. Is just the content that they try to post there.
Whole
Although it's more
businesses have collapsed after they've changed the algorithm on Facebook. They built news blogs on the backs of Facebook, hoping to get all of the likes, all those likes to get it more and more reach. And then they turned the fire hose off, and they all, blog after
although,
blog started to fall.
although I can't help but think that how the folks use the platform may be the silver lining. So now that they launched what, a year or two ago, the Facebook Watch. I don't know if it's like it's their response to like YouTube or having like their own unique content, but I bet you that if folks use that as if it was like I know it's kind of like a silly analogy. I know the A word, but if they treat it like as almost like a public access station of just being able to use the the video platform to their advantage, whether it's providing local news or just even informative or educational information, that that may be a way that they can elicit engagement as well as being able to get their content there slightly indirectly, but at the same time one that is providing value is just in a different form. So if you're like a I don't know, a TV hardware store, and you have like all these cathode ray tubes and all this stuff you want to sell. I don't know. You could do a PSA about like the dangers of playing around with cathode ray tubes that are broken or something like that, and and then just like, oh hey, we do sell cathode ray tubes like this, but but don't use it in this manner or something.
Wow. Like I mean, first of all, never mess with cathode. Never open a cathode ray tube television to tinker with the electronics. It can hold a lethal charge for 45 years being unplugged and sitting on a pile of junk. But second, for YouTube or for Facebook really to become a player in video, they need to do revenue sharing. They started it. They had a pilot program and they shut it down, just like YouTube does. YouTube will cut the channel owner a check and share the ads that the revenue from the ads that they put on the YouTube videos. That needs to happen on Facebook. And plus, Facebook needs to get their video more into a channel type of environment where people can regularly come back to and regularly engage a show that airs the same time every week. It feels like Facebook is more, oh, if I'm on Facebook and I get the alert that there's then I'll watch it. On YouTube, it's totally different. People, there's tools to say, yeah, show me everything from this channel, and whenever they post, I want to know about it. You don't get that over on Facebook. So Facebook needs more of that, and they need to share the revenue, and then that'll get people on the platform, because people know if they post stuff to a Facebook page, it's just not going to go anywhere.
But it's almost like they need to change the format for it to work. I mean, currently, anytime you see a video, it's gonna come up like as a news feed. So it's almost like they have to treat each one as like even like a profile, as a channel to get it to work. So it's so if we were to like compare that to YouTube, where the big thing is the video and the chat's like on a sidebar, Facebook is more focusing on the sidebar than the video content. If they were to flip it so that they treat the news as a video, as a channel, exactly, maybe they may have a point. But I think because like it's so baked in as to how people absorb the news, it's almost like you have to like relearn how to use the Facebook platform. And knowing how, I would say, the Facebook audience is a lot more mature in terms of the age, I don't know like how well they're going to be able to adjust that type of a change in the format.
It's got a long way to go. Facebook has got a long way to go into making it a channel oriented. That they need to mirror what YouTube is doing. If Facebook has the likes, okay, so you like the page, that's the same as subscribing on YouTube. But YouTube has the bell button. You can press the bell icon, and then you'll get you can control the alerts. And then on YouTube, you can go to a channel page and you can engage in that channel page and fall into all of the playlists and go to the community feed. There's things to do on that channel page that are very rich and discoverable. As you said, Facebook, they'll just throw your little chunk of something in the public feed and hope people kind of find it. People don't typically go to a Facebook page and surf around that Facebook page and engage in everything. They're just scrolling on their wall, and then hopefully they see something that catches them, and then they engage it that way.
Yeah,
Very different dynamics. And
I mean, I'm sorry, go ahead.
Well, Facebook's very immature in that way. Immature as a platform. That they're not feature rich in building a whole area around one Facebook page. It's too chunked up.
Yeah, I mean, you need like a fixed point people to go to, then to try to like have like a scatter shot where you're throwing it at them. It's the idea of like you're drawing them to your content, then you're going to them and throwing at them to help them catching it.
Yeah.
Dare I say, comparing to like a food vendor versus a peanut vendor, where the peanut vendor is just throwing it out there and you're hoping they catch it, and with a food vendor, they're coming to you to get the food. And they're a lot more successful to get the food because they can go to one place. YouTube, you have the video, all the format, it's all in one place. They can go there. Whereas Facebook, it's going through a news feed. You just hope and pray that they're able to catch it when you throw it at them.
Your analogies, I mean to tell you, you're you're right on the edge.
Hey, it's food. Food's
That's true.
Sort of my wheelhouse. So
food's good.
No, never mind. I'll be going really off the rails if I use an analogy. But you get. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
What other platforms do we want to talk about?
So we covered. Well, I mean, IGTV. Like we talked about earlier, that the platform gravitates towards like a production value, a format. It's almost like, I don't know if I would say it's like a vertical version of YouTube, but I mean, considering how they're using the format where they're providing produced content, and since we know that for live streaming, they're not really supposed to like provide like a production value approach towards live streaming, so that the other way around it is that they can provide edited, polished piece in their content in IGTV, so that you're more prone to see more the ooh wow factor type of videos within IGTV. But I think if anything, it's I guess they probably focus more on the exclusivity of the content they're providing. So maybe the best way they could present it is like something that they may not traditionally see, like on Instagram or something. Or
IGTV seems to be like a step up in quality and finish than Instagram. Instagram is little tiny pieces of content, and IGTV seems to be a bit longer form. Is that a good way to describe it? Would you agree?
Yeah, I mean, for Instagram, you're able to upload content up to an hour. Instagram, dare I say, bite size, up to like a minute within the feed, and the stories, I think, can go up to like about a few minutes, depending on how you place it in the story feed. God, I'm just drawing a blank here. Cool. Yeah.
Is there anything else we want to say about Twitter? I know Twitter's, it isn't the form factor. It's not square, is it? Or did they bring it, wider than it is tall? Or is that only for images?
At least images. I know for the most part that the videos on Twitter tend to be landscape. I don't know many people that use Periscope heavily, but traditionally, when they do, I think that they're starting to use it more, holding the camera this way than that way.
Let's not talk about Periscope. That's not going anywhere.
Well, I mean, if we go in the, I don't know if you want to go deep in the weeds about Meerkat, but I mean,
yeah, I know.
They tried, I give them credit. I mean, I tried it before, but it was just very. I don't know if I would say clunky, just in terms of how they're able to get followers on Periscope. Other than it was a format that you can use to live stream on Twitter, but it's just
yeah, but not interested in that one.
If I had like a Family Feud X mark, I'd play that right now. So the best thing I can say is moving on. Yeah, I mean, I'd say the one thing I would add is what I would call the how would you get their attention with the first 3 seconds with what, which is playing on the idea that everyone has a limited attention span, or a quote a friend of mine would usually exclaim the term "squirrel." What? I should call it the squirrel headline, but then I think a lot of people would think I'm nuts if I tried that. So
I don't know if that question is answerable. I mean, you do what you got to do.
But I take it a step further and offer them a suggestion on how they could do that. Now with LinkedIn, we talked about how they're focusing on more of the, the business types of tips, the thought content stuff. Most cases I see like the first 3 seconds, if you say something a bit opinionated as to really challenge their business belief or stuff, it'll grab their attention. So let's say, I know this is an extreme example, but you'll see what I'm saying. Let's say like if the topic of Twix is a decisive topic about which is better, left and right, and you start off by saying like Twix, the left is better, you're gonna get a lot of people saying, "Hey, what about the right? No, come on, man." And if you put that like in a headline, or even if you start the first 3 seconds in your video, you're gonna get either people with the mindset is like, I have to make sure I don't swear. What the blankety blank is this guy thinking? Or, all right, let me hear why he thinks left is better, and then boom, 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 boom. That's I'd say is a common way of how you can get their attention. I mean, even like now, like
And
when they're
that's on any platform. That's not just LinkedIn, is it?
Kinda. I mean, the way they disguise it is when they format their video, especially like if they do it in the block form, they use the empty space above and below it with some text. So
so it's true portrait.
Because then it gives them an opportunity to put the text there,
Yeah.
to emphasize the point. And then if they're really smart, they'll add that in the information in the description so that the keywords will pick up left Twix is better. And then anytime anyone does a search on left Twix or Twix, their feed will come up and they'll get like some sort of notification like your video is trending on LinkedIn. It's funny because like I don't it up until like last month, I never cracked the trending notification, but when I did, it's almost like, ooh, and I took a picture of it just because, I got excited. But I mean, a lot of times when that happens is they're using that type of approach where they're using the empty space to their advantage by putting either an opinionated headline or even within their video. Because especially like if now people are getting a little bit better about putting in closed caption or subtitles, so that even the subtitled text file that they're uploading, they're catching that too, so that it helps them with the visibility of the video. So in that way, even though it's an old approach, it's like an old approach with new bags of tricks to be able to help them with their video content. So that's why I kind of bring that attention with LinkedIn. But
gotcha. David Jones agrees. Twix center is better, he says. There is no center. There's a left and a right, David. David also talking about TikTok on the chat as well.
What are your thoughts about TikTok? I mean, anytime anyone asks me this, I get a lot of trouble. It's like, well, isn't that kind of like a Vine, but maybe a little bit longer?
The correct answer is it's whatever you want to make it out to be. Whatever you want TikTok to be, that's what it is. And I hear you have to like stick your tongue out a lot.
I thought you do a lot of dancing.
I don't know. I don't know about the TikToks.
I thought you were going to say something about TikToks.
Well, I do know a lot about those, but TikToks. A lot of people dancing on TikToks.
with TikToks.
A lot of OK Boomer songs on TikTok.
That could work. Although, oh no, actually, that's getting off point. I was gonna say, like, I know, like, they're actually, I think it was either Twitter or LinkedIn. They were using OK Boomer as a topic, and it was like, it was surprising as how much feedback people are offering as to whether they think of it as an inflammatory or derogatory comment. But to the point earlier about how they're getting people attention, I forget how the headline came up, but it did cover the term "okay boomer" or something like that, and it got, I kind of lost track where, like, there's one feed, there's like there must be at least 100 or 200 types of comments there. I'm like, jeez, it's almost like a polite version of Twitter on LinkedIn on that topic, just because it's in the professional landscape. But if you go into Twitter, it's a totally different tone. But yet the approach of how they're getting it in terms of, like, the getting that opinionated or headline really does a number.
David Jones is saying there's a lot of woodworkers on TikTok. So
what a woodwork. I'm sorry, go ahead.
I was just going to say, if you like woodworkers, go to TikTok, because apparently there's a lot of them there, according to David.
So they dance to woodwork?
Now, that's just it. You can make TikTok be whatever you want. I think they're just putting their woodworking videos up there. You're not required to dance on the TikTok platform. They won't boot you off the platform if you don't dance.
But will they frown upon it?
Well,
say,
we'll have to ask a TikTok expert, of which I am not. I'm a YouTube expert.
To your point, well, maybe I'll have to start cracking on, see if we can get a TikToker, or is it a TikToker or a TikTok? See, when I hear that, I keep thinking of the old the cuckoo clocks.
Yeah.
So maybe I should bring in a cuckoo clock expert to talk about TikToks.
You go for it. You go for it, Robert.
I'm just trying to imagine the conversation, how that go with a. So we're gonna talk about TikToks with a cuckoo clock expert, and then be like, "What?" That I don't know if people would consider that more of a bait or switch, or just someone just kind of like over the whole point about TikTok.
Well, I would like to talk to a clock expert, because a clock is actually a very mechanically entertaining piece of equipment, and I'm going to build wooden clocks one day in my wood shop. So manufacturing has 35,000 followers on TikTok. Or Mancrafting, that's a woodworker, and he makes these laser etched porcelain wrapped Yeti mugs. See the Yeti brand? And 35,000 followers he has on TikTok. And no, he's not dancing over there. He's just, making his cool stuff.
So what other stuff do they make?
Mancrafting is a like a woodworker / maker, and he has a laser machine with a lathe attachment, and it lasers this porcelain coating that's on the Yeti branded tumbler, and so you can give him your logo, and he'll make you one of these cups. That's one of the many things he does over there.
Nice.
Yeah. All right. Are we good? I think we can probably wrap the show up if we're done hitting these platforms. I think we've covered them all.
I almost thought you were going to ask me like a cuckoo clock type of a question. Thank God.
Well, you can buy plans. There's woodworking clock plans that you can buy, and they're more like kinetic sculptures, but they do tell the time. They like legit tell the time, and it's a huge audience. It's a huge market. I'd love to buy one. I think I might one day.
Okay. I was gonna say I'll hold you to it, but then I'll probably forget, so I can't really hold you to it. So,
well, I'm building a CNC machine just to help me manufacture the gears to very strict tolerances because if they don't mesh, if they bind, they're not going to spin properly. You've got to very carefully cut them out, and I'm building a machine that can cut it out with machine accuracy.
So when you say CNC machine, is that like a cuckoo clock machine, or is that like a different part?
A CNC machine, it's an old term that stands for computer numeric control. And what I mean by CNC machine is a 4-axis machine. So it has a router with a drill bit pointing down, and it's on a gantry, and it can go in the X, in the Y, or the Z, and it can carve out wood that you have clamped under or material that you have clamped underneath it, and you can upload a photo, or not a photo, but a rendering of a gear, and it can follow the outline, and it can cut out it can cut the gear out of the wood or plastic or whatever it is you're cutting out of. Laser cutters are lasers are CNC. It's the same idea. A laser moves on the X, on the Y, and it can cut things out. Of the vinyl cutters, the Cricut and the vinyl cutters, they have a little knife, and it plunges into a big sticker, a 12-inch by 12-inch sticker that's one solid color, and you can cut out stencils and things like that for your stickers, and other vinyl stick-on stuff. That's a CNC machine because it has the X and the Y, and it plunges down into the Z. Yeah, that's what I'm building one. It's going to be freaking awesome.
Oh, wait. Someone said freaking awesome. Oh, hang on. I had the audio. Oh, here it is. And there you go, folks.
My friend Dave Gatton, he sells a wooden CNC kit, and you can build your own machine out of wood, where the router rides on this gantry, and it's computer controlled, and you have motors, and the motors are hooked up to a little computer, and it's freaking awesome.
And remember, folks, that's CNC, not to be confused with the CNC factory of the music group CNC Factory.
CNC Music Factory.
Yeah. That's why I'm glad you clarified, because I said, wait a minute, did he mean something different, or did he mean?
If you're not sure where it is in your mind, don't start saying it. That's rule number 1 of being on live streams.
But then again, everyone marches to the beat to their own drum, I guess, or something like that. Yeah. Folks, don't worry, I'm not going to play a drum. But to wrap up, we were talking about video marketing, and just in terms of just some suggested practices, but it's more like guidelines, just to what to expect as the folks that are uploading videos up to LinkedIn, YouTube, Instagram, IGTV, Facebook, Twitter, just to get an idea. It's just like what other formats they're using. And so that way, in terms of just how you want to stand out, at least like what other people are doing, so that if you want to follow mine, at least like how it's supposed to look. But at the same time, if you want to like put a different spin on it, at least you'll know like what's the best way to go about it, as well as doing some of your own testing. I mean, if people are interested, I'd be glad to share the spreadsheet, because I know like in the earlier part of had like a lot of stats there in terms of the recommended size and length and stuff, which appreciate Matt reminding me that it may be something that gets a little bit too.
Well, I mean, can you link it in the comments? Can you attach it as a zip file in the comment of this video?
I could.
Yeah, it's up to you.
No, just like I think as we joked offline, the fact that my ability to use the Google Drive has been a bit erratic. So, I'll try to send a link for folks that they can be able to download it. I suspect it's probably going to be in a spreadsheet form. So, well, I'll do that, as well as I'll provide a description within the rebroadcast about the live stream video for those that are interested in taking part of that to help the medical frontliners and the hospitals, as well as yeah, I mean, on that, I think that's everything. Matt, was there anything that we didn't cover that you want to share with others, or is there anything that you want to share with folks of other things that you're working on, or?
I think I'm good. We hit the topic okay. All things YouTube on the YouTube platform is where you want to find me, and where some big news is going to break in the next week or two. So that's what I got.
Nice.
Yeah.
All right. So I guess that's everything. Matt, I'm gonna have you have a sign off just because I'm just kind of drawing a blank here as I can
All
dig out
right.
the
Make sure to like, share, comment, subscribe. Oh, wait a minute. That's a YouTube type thing. But no, do drop a like on this if you got some entertainment and some education value out of this. And we're here next Wednesday, 6:30 p.m. Eastern. So be sure and come back to the Sha-La-La-La Productions Facebook page. That's where we'll be. David Jones says, have a good evening. Have a good evening to you, Mr. David Jones. Thanks for stopping by, and good luck with your
Dave.
many bandsaws.
Looking forward to it. And I'll gonna roll the end credits, and I'll also provide the contact information of where folks can reach me, either about the live stream video offer or just where to get the copy of the spreadsheet that we had used for the talk. So
And thank you
for
again
Matt,
for doing that offer. That's very generous of you. Thank you for doing
no,
that.
my pleasure. Just always glad to help others. And on that note, I will try to find the where. Sorry, I'm just trying to find where I put it. Oh, here it is. We'll play the. How come I can't? Oh, here it is. Okay. Thanks again, everyone. and be safe, everyone, and enjoy the rest of the day.